Hey team, Brian here from Madness and Motive, here today with the case against Harvey Adelson. In my last video, I went over the probable cause affidavit for his wife, Donna. I think the case against Donna is quite strong for two reasons. Number one, because Charlie was found guilty. All it would have taken is one juror to disrupt everything, but they unanimously did not buy his BS. They looked at the big picture. They didn't look at the individual line items and his ways of explaining things away. And that's actually quite encouraging. I also think, after going over Donna's affidavit, there's a lot of similar evidence there. So that's why I feel pretty confident that the case against her could be strong. Now, a lot of people think that the case against Harvey is much weaker. So what I'm going to do today is go through the case against Donna, and each time we find a point against her, we're going to put it on the board. And we're going to do the same for Harvey, and we're going to see how they compare. I think you're going to be surprised at how strong the case against Harvey really is. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not making light of this by using a scoreboard and putting up points. This is just an easy way to visually show the case against Donna, the case against Harvey, and how the two compare. Another thing I wanted to address is that I have removed my logo from the upper right part of the screen, and I've replaced it with a picture of Dan. The reason I did that is because his mother was on court TV yesterday talking about how her son seems to get forgotten a lot in the discussion about this case because it is such a crazy case. Yes, it is very interesting. And yes, sometimes, even though true crime is dark, it can be entertaining. But at the end of the day, we want to remember the victim. So that's why I've placed his picture there for us to remember. So without further ado, let's get into this and see how strong the case against Harvey is. So I'm going to start at the top of the affidavit, and we're going to talk about motive. We know that in the police interview, Wendy said that her parents had negative feelings toward Dan because of this whole relocation thing. Okay. And so I'm going to give Donna and Harvey both 3 points for that. We know the motive is there. The next thing I want to focus on are those insane emails from Donna. So right off the bat, she gets 3 points for those. But let's talk about Harvey. Number one, the email address used is a joint email address for both of them. And number two, I heard repeatedly that those emails were signed mom and dad. So I'm sure Donna signed those, and sure, she could have put mom and dad even if she really didn't discuss it with Harvey. However, in my opinion, that's really a stretch. They're a married couple living together, and they've been discussing Wendy's troubles with Dan. I'm pretty confident that he had a part in some of those ideas, or they at least got his sign off, or he let them happen. So I'm giving him 2 points. Next up is the $1 million bribe. So you can clearly see in the affidavit, Donna says that 1/3 of it is going to come from her and Harvey, then the other third Wendy, and the final third Charlie. So right there, Donna and Harvey are united, and they're willing to put up hundreds of thousands of dollars for this bribe. So I'm going to go ahead and give them 3 points for that. Next up is the drop. Now, it clearly states in the affidavit that Donna and Harvey were in the car together when Donna sent that text asking Charlie if he was home. But then later that night at 1:25 in the morning, Donna and Harvey are together in the car driving to Orlando and then to Tallahassee the next morning. So in my opinion, I think they were together for the drop. I think they're both just as culpable. So they're both getting 3 points. Next, we have the payment. Now, Donna definitely gets 3 points for this because she handwrote and signed those checks from the Adelson Institute. But they are from the Adelson Institute. And this is another one where I'm just going to have to share that my opinion is that Harvey probably knew full well that these checks were going out. But I can't give him the full 3 because we don't have it literally in writing. So Harvey gets 2. Okay, next up is blowing off the Tallahassee PD. Now, this isn't necessarily a crime, I don't think. I don't think you have to talk to investigators. I think you can, point them to your attorney and refuse. So I'm not going to score 3 for this, but I am going to give Donna and Harvey both 2 points, counting against them because it's uncooperative, and they also didn't do any follow-up at all asking, what's the status of the investigation. So this is going to be a 2-pointer against both. Okay, and then the TV, or code speak in general. I don't know of any examples where we have Harvey on record speaking in code. I could be wrong. Maybe he said some things at the sushi restaurant, but from what I remember, his statements were pretty straightforward. Doesn't mean that he's innocent in those conversations, but I didn't necessarily hear him speaking in code. We definitely heard Donna speaking in code when she talked about the $5,000 TV. And so she gets a 3-pointer for this one, and I didn't score anything for Harvey. You might disagree there, but that's kind of what I decided. Then we have the letter. So this is the first follow-up to the bump. Now, we know Donna received the letter, and she had a reaction to the letter that was not indicative of an innocent person, in my opinion. So she's definitely getting a 3 for this one. I'm also giving Harvey a 3 for the letter, and the reason is because, again, they're a married couple living together. Donna receives a letter. We know she had a very negative reaction to it. I have a really hard time believing that she completely kept that from Harvey. He heard nothing about it, didn't see the letter. They had no conversations about it. It's just too hard for me to believe. So I'm going to put 3 points up for both of them for the letter. The next thing is when I was reading the affidavit for Donna, I saw from Catherine Magbanoa, she said that Charlie said he talks to his parents about everything. So he fills them in on everything that's going on. It's right there in the affidavit. So it just shows that Harvey probably had a full knowledge of what was going on. So therefore, for this one, I give Donna a 3, and I give Charlie also a 3. Up next is the text. So this is the second follow-up to the bump. And here we have a text come in. I believe it went to Donna. And again, we have her reaction to it. We've talked about that before. She's getting 3 for this. Harvey's getting 3 for this as well. And the reason is because, actually pretty similar to the letter, I believe that he probably saw the text and they probably discussed it. But what we definitely know is that he was part of a huddle up out in the back of the Icon where he and Donna lived. And it was one of these like huddled up discussions. So he's involved in the follow-up activity to the text. He's talking to Donna and Charlie, who was found guilty of plotting this. So he's getting 3 as well. So let's put 3 up for both of them for the text. Next is behavior after the bump and Katie's arrest. And I guess it's their behavior overall. So number one, we know Donna's behavior. She had reactions to the bump and its follow-ups. She had reactions after Katie's arrest. I didn't see a lot about Harvey in the affidavit. However, I heard from Fancy Fiction, which is, by the way, a channel you should subscribe to, that Harvey had a lot of similar behaviors: anxious, nervous, stressed, not sleeping. So while it's not in the affidavit, there's a lot out there that talks about Harvey's behavior as well. So I'm going to go ahead, since this is behavioral, I'm not going to give a full 3, but I did give them both 2 points for this. Okay, and then we have Vietnam. So they have tickets to Vietnam. Donna's putting things in order. Harvey's right there. I'm giving them both 3 for this one. This wasn't very difficult. Okay, but we're not done yet. That, for me, is where the evidence against Donna ends, because that's pretty much what's in the affidavit. In my opinion, that scores against her. Let's talk about some additional scores for Harvey, though. And again, these are just my opinions. Number 1, Sigfredo's calls. So there were actually 2 calls made by Sigfredo, and they went to Harvey's phone. Now, this could have been accidental, and it doesn't mean Harvey's involved, but Sigfredo had his number. And so I'm just going to give a 1 point to this. I think I have to do this manual. Oh, there we go. Okay, so he's at 30. Then we have the Lexus. This is something I didn't mention in my last video. So Katie received a Lexus, and it was registered in Harvey's name. Charlie used it, but it was registered in Harvey's name, and the title and plates were given over to Katie. And I didn't look this up or anything, but I am assuming, so tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think to transfer the title and plates, it has to be done by the person that the car is registered to. So this is Harvey with activity. He's giving something over to Catherine. Really doesn't look good. I mean, wouldn't he be asking, why are we giving this person a Lexus? Okay, maybe he could say, you know, Charlie gave me some lame excuse. But again, we're not looking at the individual list items and how they could be explained away. We're thinking about the bigger picture. So for me, this one counts against Harvey. I'm going to put a 2 here. And then we have Matsuri, that sushi lunch that he had with Charlie. Like I said, I don't think he spoke in code during this lunch. It's possible that I could be wrong there, but he definitely did say some things that showed he was comfortable with this conversation. He was not confused. He even said something like, I didn't know the FBI was that smart. So this looks really suspicious, and I'm going to put him down for 2 points for that one. And there it is. If you take a look at this, if we really break things down, now my point system may not exactly equate to what happens in court or what a jury believes or anything like that, but we're just doing a comparative exercise to get a feel for the strength of these cases. And in my opinion, I think the case against Harvey is stronger than people think. When you really go over the details, think of it this way too. When they got Charlie, it showed us that it is possible to have a lot of circumstantial evidence and have the witness pretty capably explain away all the different list items, but still have the jury look at the big picture and say, this does not make sense. I don't have reasonable doubt. If they also get Donna, I think that advances even further. So this case against Harvey, from his perspective, gets even scarier. I hope you found that interesting. I know I did when I was looking over the details. If you enjoyed the video, give me a like. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Invite me over for Thanksgiving dinner. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.